Hi there, welcome back to the Ginescast. I'm your host, Gina.annunziato. Thank you so much for joining me. I don't really have anything to intro here. I do have things to say, though. What I'm thinking about is if anybody can actually help me get this on iTunes, that information would be very pertinent to what I want to do. I think that is my logical next step here. That's basically all I got. Before we begin this next podcast, please sit back and enjoy the Ginescast number 28, Taking the Blanket Off. I need to do a little bragging here right off the bat, because I've been doing the online game for a little over 8 years now. Back in the day, I experienced tremendous growth when I first started, of course. I had a sizable audience that I likened to owning a small army. It felt really good knowing that every time I uploaded a video, it would absolutely, without a doubt in the world, get views and comments. It felt really good as a young woman in my 20s to get that kind of attention. It was a nice thing. And this small army that I had, I promise you I wouldn't have asked them to do any evil bidding per se, but it was nice feeling on top for a while there. And although it would be very nice to have that audience level again and seeing it on the rise, right now it is not the goal. The goal, as it always has been, is to share things that I think are important and reach those who want to listen. But as we're wont to do sometimes, I have to look back and see what it is that people wanted to listen to about me. I've been kind of one-man banding this thing from the get-go, so I got to see what worked and what didn't work. And I think what always stood out to people about me is the fact that I'm relatable in some way. I think I have a good grasp of who I am and what I'm feeling, even if my emo tweets tell you a different story from time to time. Any content creator has to relate to an audience in some way, and because my content has largely been my face and my thoughts, I think people took to it really well. Thankfully, I never got too personal with the internet because I'm not into oversharing and I'm also not stupid. Too many content creators take their stuff into these weird personal realms in kind of a desperate attempt to find relatability. That's my opinion anyway. I'm just grateful this came naturally to me. And sorry not sorry for the humble brag. This year, I think I let this relatability get to my head a little bit. I really did think that everything I did had a profound effect on someone, somewhere. Like I was a walking butterfly effect. I know now that that is not true. But maybe it can be for some instances. Why do I have to think that every little thing I do is important or significant? It's not. I willingly threw a blanket statement over my own abilities because I take to an all or nothing approach with myself. I'm either the greatest person who has ever lived or the absolute worst. I don't know why exactly I do this, and I'm still figuring it all out, but I do see parallels with how we maybe once treated each other online. Because most of our internet interactions include faceless encounters, it's quite easy to map out whatever feeling you have onto the particular person you're speaking with. They can be the worst left-leaning snowflake ever created, or a literal Nazi. That in itself is annoying to realize, but honestly, I do think people are starting to cut out the overactions a bit. Of course, you're still going to see it popping up from time to time, but it's starting to wane. We are never going to achieve total harmony. That would be a boring as hell world. But there's some kind of respect brewing just beneath the surface. We are tired. We're tired of the oversharing and assigning personal feelings to every little thing that seems to occur in life. And when you're tired of something, you eventually go to bed. you wrap yourself up in a blanket and nod off for a good night's sleep. But you can't stay in bed forever. You have to throw the blanket off and start the day. And more, I think people are starting to wake up to this fact. You cannot assign an all white people, or all black people, or all males, or all females, or all gay people, all straight people, all transgender, all Christian, all atheists, all Muslims, all Jews, all Democrats, all Republicans, all libertarians, all teens, all boomers, all gamers, all gun owners, all mentally ill, all nice guys, all bitches, all anything to everything anymore. We, in case you haven't realized, are individuals. Maybe that bad thing that one white male did doesn't necessarily mean all white males do the thing. Maybe that one woman who was mean to you one time online doesn't mean all women are going to do that as well. This is really hard to pinpoint here, but I really believe, slowly but surely, we're beginning to treat things on a case-by-case basis. This is something that I've always wanted to do, because lumping people together and throwing a blanket on them rarely ends positively. I'd like to hear your examples of what you think would be a positive interaction in that way. Because what happens is people get lost in the darkness underneath that blanket and they can't really shuffle out. Turning an individual into a group makes them lose all relatability. How can you truly know or get to know a person if you've assigned the thoughts of many onto one? And some people in this world are not worth getting to know. I know that, I get that, that's fine. So you just minimize your interaction with them and move on, finding other people who are worth your time. However, I think the biggest thing that we do forget is sometimes the person who deserves the best of our time is ourselves. You spend 24/7, 365 with yourself. And it's always fine to check in with the individual and make sure you're doing what's best for you, not what that big group behind you thinks is best for you. The best way we can relate to one another is usually via one-on-one interactions. And hopefully, those with the talent to influence can take what they learned from those one-on-one interactions and send them out to a large group of people. Hopefully, what they're influencing is the good and not the bad, because there's enough of the bad going around, let me tell you. But now I think we're quicker to call people out on the bad than we were when this year began. I do take a lot of my observations from Twitter, because I think Twitter, with all of its flaws in a way, is a pretty good barometer of the political discourse, especially. Twitter is in itself what's happening, that's their tagline. And because it's very surface level, things that kind of are just plucked from the very tippy top of people's brains, you see the most raw person there. So while we do like and retweet a lot of bullshit out there, you see way more pushback in the comments than you ever have. I think this is significant. Maybe it's not the best thing for me to put a blanket on exactly how everybody's interacting, but it's a start, in a way. Maybe it's a very thin sheet, I don't know. I say all this as someone who really can't relate to anyone right now. I have always flown solo. And although there's a part of me that is so desperate to not do that anymore, I know that right now it's what I've got to do in order to make myself the best person I can be. So I'm not solo anymore. I just have to keep compounding on that the more I learn. I'm really tired of feeling lonely, because I'm not lonely. I'm tired of thinking that all of my feels are universal, even though sometimes they are. It's all a process, and I'm working through it. And I feel like I say that week after week, but maybe I need to. Maybe We all, wink wink, need to. I really do think that we're all out here just trying to relate to something so one day we can relate to those we care about the most. And maybe if we're lucky, the feeling will be mutual. But it's important never to forget about your individuality in the process, because once you see yours and really grasp onto it, you'll be able to see everyone else's too. You go to sleep as an individual, and you wake up as one too. And hopefully, you've made it your mission to wake up with clean sheets. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ginescast. I don't want to tell you my plans because I don't want them to not come to fruition. I have plans. There are things that are brewing, and they're always brewing, but in the meantime, I don't think it's a bad thing that this has been a consistent thing since the beginning of April, and I'm really enjoying where we're going. I hope to somehow, some way get some more folks on board, and in the meantime, I'm just going to keep doing it. And I hope that you'll keep listening. I'm very appreciative of everybody that's been listening and watching and coming into the live streams and hanging out. It's been really fun. And I really enjoy the fact that a lot of you guys have been sticking with me this whole time. My whole internet journey. That makes me very happy. And that's very special to me. And I want to hold on to that while, calling out to other folks too. You know what I'm saying? But thank you. I very much appreciate you all listening, and I hope we stick with it and we keep kicking butt over here. The Ginescast comes out every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you like this video, please give it a like, please leave a comment below, or share it with someone you think would like it, and please make sure to subscribe to my channel. If you want more from me, you can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and SoundCloud at HelloGines, or shoot me an email at gina.annunziato@gmail.com. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Ginescast. I'm your host, Gina Annunziato, and I'll see you next time. Take care.